Oh no, we're letting all the ruffians up in the Bayside. What in the world are we gonna do? Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. And if you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. It's finally here. The Saved by the Bell reboot for Peacock has finally dropped. 10 episodes. I'm going to do each episode in a different video, so this one's going to just be about the pilot episode that is dropped. Let's give you a little bit of history. I am a huge Saved by the Bell fan. I've gone from Good Morning Miss Bliss to the original series to the college years to the two spin-off movies to about 3 years of the new class. I couldn't go much beyond that. So I'm very excited to discuss this new series. Just off the bat, I can already tell you that the pilot and the series is a lot more diverse and ethnic, and I think that's done on purpose. And I'm excited to see where it goes from there. First things first, before I get into the rest of the show, the one bad thing that I did not like about this series is the remix or redo of the theme song. It's terrible. I know it's a little yachty. This isn't even though I am in a rocking chair. This isn't the old man in his rocking chair on the lawn. The original song is very sing-songy. It's a catch. You can kind of sing along with it. The BPMs on this are so slow that it feels like it's a special needs version of this song, and I don't know why that is. It's so slow that you can't really get a rhythm to it, um, and I think that sucks. It's a bit of a disconnect from how good the rest of the series with how bad that song or redo is. And I don't want a beat for beat of the old version because that's very 90s. Um, but there's a way to modernize that theme song besides what they did. For me, though, that is the only negative I have about what I've seen in this pilot. Just to start off, there are going to be some spoilers, but I won't more so for the plot. I don't really want really spoil jokes because I think you should enjoy the jokes and what happens in this uh, on your own. So what happens in the pilot right off the bat. Zach Morris is still trash. That has not changed. If you watch the end of Zach Morris is trash, that man is still trash. And so we get a nice little cameo at the top of the show with Mark Paul Gosselaar because he's the governor of California. And as the governor of California, he has made the same mistake of scheming his way, and instead of just being smart or doing the work or doing everything, he has been the good looking white guy who has schemed his way out of things. Of course, a parking ticket gets him to somehow come up with a scheme to be the governor of California, and he does, but he's not good at it because he fails at everything he does, but he still gets by. He finds a way, unfortunately, that the education system in Bayside is failing outside of the suburbs and outside of the well-to-do area. And so all the underappreciated schools, all the ethnic schools, are having to be closed and folded. Unfortunately, these kids need to find somewhere to go, so they end up in Bayside. And that is basically the premise of this series and what this pilot puts the sprinklings in of what we're going to get for the rest of the series. That said, that is hilarious. Of some very uncomfortable but fun jokes between privilege, ethnicity, race, all of that good stuff tied into one make for a very entertaining and different version of what we get from the original series. I think the original series, if we tried to do a one-to-one recreation, it just wouldn't hold up. I think a lot of comedy in that show, because it was a laugh track and it was very daytime kids, it was more cotton candy and fluff than I think anything that was super meaningful. Outside of the episodes that were PSAs or the more you know episodes, once you watch the Saved by the Bell episode, outside of nostalgia, it never really stuck with you. Whereas the comedy here hits a little harder, and especially being a black man, I think the change in ethnicity and the change in stereotypes and being proven to be something other than what your stereotype is just a really well done. There are no laugh tracks. This is done in for sort of a way like Scrubs or 30 Rock, where you you kind they earn the laughter a little bit more as opposed to telling you when you're supposed to laugh. I prefer comedy that way, so I'm glad that they went that way as opposed to getting the laughter like out. The comedy in this is really good. I don't. You go back and watch a lot of those Saved by the Bell shows. You're smiling, and I'm smiling from ear to ear just because I'm a fan of it and I enjoy these. It really isn't laugh out loud funny. You're smiling like, oh, that's appreciated. I appreciate that. Oh, Zach's up to no good. But in this, there are some like die hard laugh out loud moments. I think some of that's because it's got writers from the 30 Rock, but this feels like what would happen if 30 Rock and Saved by the Bell merged. The comedy, the comedy here works whether you're a Saved by the Bell fan or not. I think it's good either way. The comedy goes up about 10 levels though if you're a Saved by the Bell fan like myself. They do a great job in this pilot, and I'm assuming the rest of the series, where they don't assume that you're a Saved by the Bell fan, but if you are, they have enough things in here that are like small jokes here or there that sort of take the piss. They don't make fun or make you feel stupid for liking the original series, but they make sure that we're aware that that's why you're here, and we'll take the piss out of some of that because these are the things that when you look back at Saved by the Bell and watch it now, you're like, yeah, that's a bit silly. All the things that all the hijinks we get into, or the way that we resolve things by having a dance off, and this massive Zach Morris phone, all of that stuff sort of comes back in a way, but it's done in a way that makes you laugh, and it's quite hilarious when it is all said and done. What this series does really well is that our lead Daisy is been given the Zach Morris powers. So the timeout, the breaking the fourth wall, all goes to a Latinx Hispanic uh, female, and I think that makes this show stick out even more and be have that much more power. Not only do you go ethnic, but you also go opposite gender. So, but you still have a Zach Morris plant there. So what they do is that while while you have Lexi and you have Mac, but you have Aisha and Daisy and Devontae to sort of be the counter to that, to show that some of the stuff that those privileged white kids got away with in Bayside, if you were ethnic or sort of a different stereotype, you may not be as easy to get away with those. And I think this first episode does a great job of putting biases out there, and even if well intended, like the parents, the PTA meeting that has the parents saying, "I don't know if I want those kids interacting with my kids," is very, while it's done tongue in cheek, is very telling of where our world is, because not too long ago, less than 70 years, less than 80 years for sure, integration wasn't a part of the world, and that, those some of those same statements and some of those same thought processes was what was done then, and it's crazy to see in a comedy form that still be the case. But even as well, and those weren't well intended biases, but there are some where AC Slater attempts to um, get a player who he thinks would be great for football on his team, and then realizes that he was completely incorrect, and he read it wrong just because of the inclination of what Devontae looks like, instead of saying that Aisha is much better as the actual football player. I think having an ethnic, having Daisy, Aisha, Devontae be the straight men, while Mac, Lexi are being the comedic end, and then kind of merging them together and having this new formed version of Saved by the Bell is a great way to get the ball rolling on this series. I'm excited to see what happens next. Unlike the previous incarnations of Saved by the Bell and a lot of the spin-offs that, not spin-offs, but all the copycat shows that took place, like Hang Time and all of those, this show, just off the pilot, feels like it's doing more. And because of that, I'm excited to watch the rest of this series. So, what did you guys think of the pilot? Have you watched it? Go ahead and leave your comments in the comments below. I will be continuing these on over the next 5 days, doing probably about 2 of these a day. So stick with me, and I'll give you my thoughts and review of Clubs and Clicks, the second episode, later today.